Data type is the data type describes the type of data that we will be storing in a variable, okay, in a memory location. So in the last class we went through the four basic data types, and we discussed about the int data type, where we added a few more keywords to make the size flexible, yes, or to remove the negative numbers from integer. So likewise we have the other basic data types also. See here, let me just we went through int, yes, we went through unsigned int, then we also went through short int. Okay, we I tried to explain why we need sometimes why we might have to minimize the size of the data, yes, to minimize the size of the storage, actually more specifically size of the storage, because if you are storing a very small size data, you need not, waste more of your memory. Yes, so if you can store the data in 16 bits of memory, why do we need 32 bits? Yes or no? Why do we have to store extra zeros, which provides no meaning at all? So this is why we feel the need of short keyword in front of the basic data types. Next we also went through the unsigned keyword, which is basically used to exclude all the negative numbers from the range. Okay, it will not minimize or maximize the size of the data, it remains the same. Okay, so you can use unsigned not only with int, but you can also use it with float or double. So it is never going to minimize or maximize the size of your data, but it will exclude the negative numbers. Okay, the negative numbers on the number scale. So likewise, you see we have long int also. Okay, now you have a very big say you have a very big number that you have to store. Okay, which will not come under this range. Okay, so a number that you want to store, and that is from outside this range. So in that case you cannot use int only. Okay, you have to add another keyword, which is the long keyword. So long int, okay, will simply double the size of integer. So integer is 4 bytes, long int will double the size, so it becomes 8. Okay, so remember, short int will reduce the size to half, and long int will double the size. Okay, so if you write short, it becomes 2. If you write long here, it becomes 4 to the 8. Okay, so now that your size, okay, now that your size is double, so you can easily use it. Fine. So next we have actually this is wrong. It is wrong. Huh? This value is wrong. This should be minus 2 to the power 64, so 63. Here 2 to the power 63 minus 1. Okay, so this is the size. So your numbers will be within this range, minus 2 to the power 63. Okay, 63 because there are 64 bits. Okay, 8 8s are 64. Okay, so since we are representing 8 bytes using long int, so 8 8s are 64. Okay, so it's the number of the count will start from 0 to 63. So minus 2 to the power 63, because we are representing negative numbers also. Okay, so minus 2 to the power 63 to 2 to the power 63 minus 1, that is to n minus 1 0. Okay, minus n to n minus 1. So that is how we calculate the range. Okay, so all these ranges have been calculated. Likewise, I will, once I give the note, okay, I will give your, okay, I'm just adding it here. So this is actually obtained this way, 2 to the power, so since we are considering the negative numbers here, so minus 2 to the power, we have 4. Okay, so this will be 4. What is 4 is a 32, so 2 to the power 31 to 2 to the power 32. 1 minus 1. Okay, so this is the actual value. Okay, this is how we calculate this range. Fine, so this is how we have calculated all these ranges. Just hold on. Okay, so have you understood how we get the range? You have to just multiply it with the number of bytes. Okay, 4 bytes means 4 8s are 32. Okay, so minus 31 to 2 to the power 31 minus 1. So this is how we will be getting all the ranges. Fine. Here in this case, okay, we do not have, here in this case you see this is unsigned. Okay, so that is we will not have this part. Okay, so this will be simply 0. So if you see, this will be simply 0 0 to 0 to 2 to the power, so 8 for the 32, so this will be direct 32, so 8 2 to the power 32. Okay, so this is how we get the range, okay, from the bytes occupied. So long int will be this, you just find it in the calculator, and so that is how we will get the range. Okay, so I am just writing it in exponential form. Next we have unsigned long int. So just like short int and unsigned short int, we also have unsigned long int. So long int was to maximize the size. If you want to store a bigger value which will not come, which will come outside this range, then you have to use long int to double the rate size of the int. Okay, then unsigned long int will simply exclude the negative part. Okay, it will simply exclude the negative numbers. So this is how we will get it. So this number is also wrong. This value, I don't know from where I got pasted it, but anyways, this value is also wrong. This will be simply 2 to the power 64. Okay, this is simply 2 to the power 64. Then we have long int. Okay, we have long int. So likewise, you will be getting these values. Anyways, these are not so important. Next, you see, you have character. Okay, you have characters. So character occupies, we'll just look at it once now, since I have given it here and it is important though. See, void is an incomplete type. It means nothing or no type. So you can think of void as absent. For example, if a function is not returning anything, its return type should be void. Okay, so suppose you are not, see, you cannot create variables of void type. Okay, so you will understand this better when we will be covering recursion and functions. Okay, when we will be covering the derived data types. Okay, more specifically, then you will understand the use of void. So basically, just like we use int, character, float, double to declare variables. Okay, we use them with variables. We don't use this data type void with variables. Okay, we use them with functions. So you don't know what a function is, so better we don't discuss it further here. Okay, just for the sake of the definition, it is added so that you go through it. That's all. Okay, next. Okay, now we will see how we declare and define a variable. So since now we have learned what a variable is, what constants are. Yes, we have went through constants the last week. We saw what constants are. There are two basic types of constants. One is the numeric constant, integer, so numeric constant, and one is the string constant. So under numeric constant, we looked into integer constant and real or floating point constant. And under string constant, we look into character constants and string of characters constant. Yes. So if you remember, we went through constants, we have gone through variables, even we did a brush up just now. Then we have gone through the data types, basic data types. Okay. So now since we know all of this, now let's see how we can declare variables. Okay. You see, a variable definition tells the compiler where and how much storage to create for the variable. You see, I've already told you about this. So as I said, okay, we will be using variables to store values. Yes, but ultimately the variables are referring to some memory location. So ultimately these are some names that we have given to the memory locations. So the value that you will be storing will be ultimately stored in some memory location. Yes, now you have to specify the size of the data. Okay, you have to specify the compiler, okay, that you want to store this type of data. So accordingly you will be making use of the basic data types. So we have also seen one example in the previous class where I declared a variable a of integer type, yes, and I stored the value 5. So that is what variable declaration is all about. Okay, so what is a variable declaration statement? Fine. So what is this is actually, yeah, see what is a variable declaration statement actually. You have one example here. Okay, so what are these? Just look at the first line, int ijk. So what does this tells the compiler? You see, once you write your program, it is the compiler who will do everything on your behalf. Okay, so compiler will accordingly read values, okay, and declare variables, read values into them, or display values from them. So it is the job of the compiler. Once you are done writing your own code, you run it, you execute it, then it is up to the compiler to take care of everything. Fine. So initially what happens is, when you write a statement like this, okay, so what does this mean? You see, I, j, k, these are nothing but simple variables. And what are they used for? These are used for storing values. Okay, that is clear to all. Now I have specified a data type here which is of type int. So what does this mean? That I will be storing integer values in each of I, j, k. So I, j, k are three variables. I will be holding one integer value, J will be holding one integer value, and K will be holding one integer value. Okay. Now, when this particular statement will be executed by the compiler, some, accordingly, that much amount of memory space will be assigned to each of these I, J, K. Now, let us consider one by one. For example, I. Now, when this part int I will be executed, accordingly for variable I, 4 bytes of, okay, 4 bytes of memory will be assigned to I by the compiler. Okay, so that we have already seen here. Let us go back to the diagram. Okay, so suppose this is I. Let me just rub it off. Okay, say this is I. So problematic. Okay, anyways, I'm just see here by that statement. Okay, by that particular statement declaration. What was that statement? Int I, comma j, comma k. Yes, this was the statement. Okay, this is how we declare variables. You see, now once this particular statement is executed by the compiler, what will happen is, first, for each of this, because these are three variables, okay, so we will be storing three values here. And what type of values are we going to store? We will be storing integer type of values. As soon as the compiler reads this data type, it will understand that for each of these variables we have to assign 4 bytes of memory. Okay, so this particular variable I will be holding an integer number, and for that we have to assign 4 bytes of memory to this variable I, and accordingly, see, this particular I, okay, this will be assigned this, and this 4 bytes of memory. Okay, so now variable I not only represents this single block, not only represents this single cell, but it represents this entire row. Okay, so when you say variable I, so I is the entire row now, because it will be pointing towards the entire 4 bytes. Okay, next you see we have J. So J will now point towards each of these 4 bytes. Okay, and K will also point towards each of these 4 bytes, because each of these variable I, J, K are nothing but they are actually referring to a memory location which comprises of 4 bytes each. Okay, so I being an integer type of variable, so what is integer type of variable? It means that it will be storing integer value. So since it will be storing an integer value, that is why it will be allocated 4 bytes of memory. So I has been allocated 4 bytes of memory, J has been allocated 4 bytes of memory, and K has been allocated 4 bytes of memory. So each of these 3 rows, okay, will be pointed by these 3 variables. So I will be referring to the entire row here, J will be referring to this particular row, and K will be referring to this particular row. See, in memory, it need not necessarily mean that each of these variables will stay together. They can be in any scattered position. If I is in here, J can be anywhere, K can also be in anywhere. Is that fine? But just in for this example, okay, just for the sake of the explanation, I'm showing you this way. Okay, I'm showing you all the blocks together, all the cells together. But your I can be stored anywhere in memory, J can also be stored in any other location, K can also be stored in any other location. But you have to remember that because these are integer type of variables, so each of these variables will be assigned 4 bytes together. Okay, so each of these variables will be assigned 4 bytes of memory together. That is all. But I, J, and K, these 3 variables need not be together. They can be in anywhere. They have no relation with one another. Is that fine? And each of these memory cells will be having their own memory locations. Okay, say this is location number 1, this is 2. Okay, let me just copy paste it, cut paste it here. So this is 1, okay, this is 2. These are the memory locations. This has to be 4. Okay, then suppose this is 5. Okay, this is 6. It will continue. Okay, and so on, it will continue. Okay, so each of this cell will be having different memory locations. But however, because we are referring to the cells using variables, and depending on the data type, these variables will be referring to that many memory cells. Here I, J, K, each of them are of integer data type, so each of these variables will be referring to 4 bytes of memory. Is that fine? Is it clear till here? বুঝি পাইছা নে?
Yes, ma'am.
Variable declaration meaning to কি হয়?
Yes.
See, whenever you are asked, see, in your Viva, you might be asked what is a variable, what is a constant, what is variable declaration. So these are very important. Writing long programs is not important, but to understand the basics is more important. Is it fine? So in your Viva, you will come across this type of questions only. So it is very important that you understand all this. Now, next is you see character C, comma CH. So what does this statement mean here? So if you are asked that what is this statement, you simply have to say that, sir or ma'am, this is nothing but we are writing a variable declaration statement here, where C and CH are 2 variables of type character. So what is this? Of type character means both C and CH will be holding characters. Okay, both C and CH are variables which will be holding characters. And characters means each of the values that C and CH will hold will be of 8 bytes. Sorry, 1 byte. Okay, or 8 bits. Is it fine? So C and CH are simply variables which will be storing character type of data, and each of them will be of 1 byte. That is all. So once this particular statement is executed, accordingly, if you go back to the previous example again, previous diagram here, so let me just rub it off. See, let me just show it in here. So character C, comma CH. Okay, so now say this is C. So once, okay, when once that particular statement, character C, comma CH is executed by the compiler, fine. Once this particular statement is executed by the compiler, then for C, 1 byte of memory will be assigned, okay, and for CH, another byte of memory will be assigned. So now C is pointing to this particular program. C is pointing only to this particular memory location. Is that fine? And CH, okay, CH will simply point to this particular memory location. CH can point to any other memory location, not necessarily this, okay. CH can also point to this location also. As I said, variables can be stored in any variables can represent any memory location. They can be in any part of the memory. Okay, so this can also be CH. So if this is C, CH can be here also. So when this particular statement will be executed, accordingly the compiler will understand that we have to first allocate some, we have to assign a block of memory to this particular variables, okay. Accordingly C will be, accordingly say this block, this particular cell will be assigned to C, and this particular cell will be assigned to CH. Now since we are pointing to memory locations, okay, now we can give values to them. Now you can insert values inside them. Is it fine? So likewise, even in case of float, suppose in case of float, because here we were talking about characters, so they are representing only 1 byte. So one cell will be assigned. Suppose you are talking about float. Okay. So for float, what will happen is, now C and CH are two variables which will store float values. And float is again like int. Okay. It represents 4 bytes. Okay. So accordingly, now this particular C will not only be this, not only this particular cell will be assigned to C, but this entire row will be assigned to C, because C will be requiring 4 bytes now to store a float value. Accordingly, similarly, CH, okay, the CH variable will also be assigned 4 bytes of memory cell, okay, so that they can store float values in them, just like integer, just like I spoke about integers. It's the same way. Is it fine? Is it okay? Variable declaration, any doubts?
No, ma'am.
Anybody has any doubt? Please speak up. Kabar kwa doubt is kwa kuli kwa. Yes, Bipasha has responded no, ma'am. What about the rest? Students have a very good habit of following the crowd. Yes, if one person says no, the rest will also follow them. See, this is your class. Okay, this is each of your individual's class. I am not only one student's teacher, but I'm everybody's teacher. Okay, so it is your responsibility to come up with doubts, if any. Somebody has understood does not necessarily mean that everybody will understand, and there's nothing to shy away. Okay, that ye pucha to kya sochenge log. Please don't think that way. You can have any doubts. Okay, it is fine, it is obvious to have doubts, and it is, I really prefer, students like who come up with doubts. So please speak up if you have any doubts with whatever we discussed today, data types and variable declaration. Have you understood? This is called variable declaration, okay, where we have simply declared the variables. Okay, variable definition is when we will be storing values. Okay, so we have went through these two statements, each of these statements. So what will happen? So when we declare variables, what happens is, some, depending on the data type, that much memory size, okay, that much memory block will be assigned to the variables. That's all. But the variables are empty. We have not stored any values there. Okay, we have simply declared the variables. Declared the variable means I have simply used a variable and I have pointed to a particular memory location saying that this particular memory location will be I, or that particular memory location will be K. Okay, say these 4 bytes will be I. This one particular byte will be for C. So I am simply doing a declaration. I am simply assigning some memory block to the variables depending on the data type that they are using. Okay, so this is variable declaration. What is variable definition? When you will be storing values along with the declaration. So here you have simply declared it, but once you start storing values, that is if you directly write here I equal to 2, okay, then you write say j equal to 1 and k equal to say 7. So here what I have done is, together with variable declaration, I have also done an initialization. So this you can call variable definition, okay, or variable initialization. So what it means is, along with declaring, okay, along with declaring a variable, you have also assigned values. You have also placed values inside those variables, okay. So now suppose I contains 2, j is 1, k is 7. So how will it be represented internally? You see, let us just go back to this location. Okay, so this was I, this was j. So I said I to be 2. Now I have to place 2 inside this 4 bytes. Okay, now 2 is nothing but 0010. This is the value of 2 in binary. Okay, now you are to represent this 2 using how many bytes? 4 bytes, that is 32 bits. So you have to simply go on adding zeros like this until this entire length becomes 32. So this is the 32 bit number 2 that I will be storing in I. Okay, so now I'm just rubbing it off. Okay, I'm just deleting it because we are not storing addresses. I have just mentioned the addresses here, but inside we will be storing values. Okay, so what value does I store? I stores 2. So binary value for 2 is this in terms of 32 bits. So all these 32 bits now will be placed here together, starting from the first byte to the last byte. Okay, so it will go like this, 0000, it will continue. Okay, here you store 8 bytes, then sorry, 8 bits, then here also you store 8 bits, here also you store 8 bits. The 8 bits hole sake no eta ase khali. Okay, just let me go on storing the 8 bits. 1 2 3 4, 1 2 3 4, and then 1 2 3 4, 1 2 3 4. See, this is how we will be storing the number 2 in the variable I. Okay, if you see, we have 8 8 8 8, which sums up to 32 bits. So ultimately I am only storing 2, but for this I am utilizing how many bits? 32 bits, because I have been assigned 4 bytes of memory for I. So I am to, you know, occupy the entire location. Is that fine? So you will be writing the number internally, the number will be written stored this way. Is that fine? Say then for j, okay, we spoke about j stored 1. Yes, so similarly just like 2, okay, j will also hold 1 now, because again we have to represent 1 using 32 bits. It is the same thing, it's just that